Hey y'all, it's Lacey. I'm coming on here today with a huge book haul. All of these books were from thrift stores or Goodwill, and I even have a huge pile of books that were free. So I thought I'd come on here and share what I got with y'all. And let's get into it. And forgive my appearance, I still have my workout clothes on. I haven't even changed this evening since after I did my workout. So, anyway. Alright, I think I'm going to start with the ones that I got at Goodwill. There's just three of them. The first one is Ken Follett, Pillars of the Earth. I've heard so many people talk about this on YouTube, and when I saw it at Goodwill, I was like, I'm gonna get it because I think I want to read it. It sounds interesting, and so many people talk about it. I'm not crazy about the TV tie-in cover. I don't really like those a whole lot, but it was like probably less than $1 at Goodwill, so I figure if I really like them and want to read the rest of them, maybe I'll invest in better copies of them. The next one I got was Soul Harvest. It's the fourth book in the Left Behind series. I'm trying to read my way through that series. These are not great works of literature, but they're not horrible either. I mean, I enjoy them for what they are. I mean, they're not the best written books, but you can kind of get past that a little bit. So, next one is Frank E. Peretti, This Present Darkness. I think I've read this one before, but it's been a long time and I can't quite remember what it's about. And this is also on the Great American Read list, so I'm trying to read a lot of those books, and I try and pick them up where I can, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on them just in case I don't like them. So there's that one. Alright, this next group came from a thrift store near our area. It's got a huge book section that I just spend too much time in when I go there, and you can come out of there with a box of books for like nothing. I think these books were probably less than $8. This first one is Tom Clancy, Patriot Games. I'm really on the lookout for A Hunt for Red October because, again, that one's on the Great American Read list. But I've seen this movie, the one with Harrison Ford, and I really liked it, so I saw it and grabbed it. Thought I'd try and read it sometime. This next one is Evelyn Waugh, Brideshead Revisited. I love English TV shows, books, movies, all that stuff, and this is one that I've had on my list for a while but could never really find a copy of it, and didn't really want to go out and buy a copy like new or at a bookstore, so I saw this and decided to pick it up and try it out. This next one is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It's another one that's on the Great American Read list. So when I saw that one, I picked it up. I think eventually I'd like to have a whole shelf of those books that are on that list so I can gradually work my way through it. This next one it's super old, but I just felt like I needed to buy it because I like old books. I like the way they look on shelves. But this one is Mark Twain, Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, and this thing looks like it has been through some things. It looks like it's definitely had some water damage, and I don't know, but I just couldn't leave it in the thrift store, so I brought it home. This next one is Larry McMurtry, Lonesome Dove. I've read this before, but I wanted to maybe reread it one day, and I wanted to have my own copy of it. And if you've never read this, I highly recommend it, but I also recommend the miniseries. If you've never seen that, you need to watch it. This one is another one in the Left Behind series. This is the fifth book, Apollyon. I try and only pick these up at like Goodwill or thrift stores, and I like this edition of them. I like the big ones. So it's just another one that I grabbed. This next one is Rob Lowe, Stories I Only Tell My Friends. He came through here, I think a year ago. I didn't go see him, but this was the show that he was doing, the Stories I Only Tell My Friends, so I thought it might be an interesting read. This next one is A Book of Angels by Sophie Burnham. I had this book a long time ago, but I don't know what happened to it. But it's about angels and people's experiences with angels. It's really good. I remember reading it a long time ago and really enjoying it a whole lot. And then this last one is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. It doesn't have a cover. It's not in great condition, but I grabbed it just in case I might want to read it one day. I watched the TV show, but I haven't read the book. I actually started reading the first book a long time ago before I ever started watching the show, and I think I got 3/4 of the way through it and set it down and never picked it back up again. I think it's still on my Kindle, but anyway, I just thought I'd pick up a physical copy of it and try it and see if I could get into the actual books. By the way, the season 8 trailer for Game of Thrones just came out today, and I'm so excited. I'm also a little scared because I've heard that there are things that are going to happen in this season that are going to upset a lot of people. So I do not know what to expect in this next season, but I cannot wait. All right, this last stack is the books that we got for free. My daughter goes to a charter school, and they're trying to put together a library, and they get shipments of books in, and the ones that they don't want to use, they offer for free to anybody who wants to come by and take a look. So we went by there recently and picked up a bunch of books, more books than we probably needed to bring home, but I'm a sucker for cheap and free books. This first one is Dean Koontz, From the Corner of His Eye. This is one of his later ones. I think it came out in 2000. I haven't read a lot of his more recent things, but whenever I see a Dean Koontz book, I try and pick it up. This next one is also one that's on the Great American Read list. It is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. So it's just another one that I picked up to try and read. This is another Dean Koontz book, Night Chills. I don't think I've ever read this one, and I feel like I've seen it, but with a different cover. I've never seen this cover before, so I'd grab that one too. This one is James Rawlins' The Seventh Plague. I've read this, but I'd like to reread his books in this Sigma Force series. A lot of the earlier ones I listened to on audiobook, and they're really good audiobooks, narrated by Scott Brick. He's a really good audiobook narrator. But I decided I wanted to reread them, so whenever I see them, I try and grab them if I can. This next one is Todd Burpo, Heaven is for Real. I know they made a movie about it a couple years ago, but I've never read it. It was free. Thought I'd pick it up, try it out one day. This next one, this cover is crazy, which is pretty much the reason why I picked it up. I have no idea what it's about. Never heard of this author or this book, but it's called The Voice by Colm Connolly. I don't know if you can see that, but look at that cover. It is insane. But somebody put a big old sticker in front of it. I don't know why somebody would do that. I'm going to try and get that off. But, that cover is just crazy. I think there's some sort of rabies storyline in this. I have no idea, but I picked it up, thought I'd give it a shot. If I ever get around to reading it, I'll let you know. This one is Judy Garland by Ann Edwards. It doesn't have a cover, but it looks like a biography about Judy Garland. It's got some old pictures in it from her days in Hollywood, which I love. I love books about celebrity actors and actresses from like the 30s and 40s. They're some of my favorites. This next one is Lev Grossman, The Magicians. I've heard a few people talk about this on YouTube. Never read it, had never really heard of it before, but it's like in brand new condition, so free, so I picked it up. This one is also on the Great American Reads list. It's Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I thought this edition was really pretty, and it's in great condition. It looks like it's a Reader's Digest edition, so anyway, I just thought it was really pretty and in great condition, and I couldn't pass it up since I do want to try and read it since it's on the Great American Read list. Another biography, Betty White, if you ask me. I mean, who doesn't love Betty White? I mean, she's great. She's like a national treasure. And the last one is Lauren Bacall Now. I read her autobiography many years ago called By Myself. But I think this is just a standalone book of hers, a new memoir of hers that she wrote a couple years ago. So anyway, those are all the books I've collected in the last couple of weeks. I think this might date back to like close to the beginning of the year. I don't really need to be bringing this many books into the house because we are trying to move and everything is kind of packed up and cluttered. So I don't really need to be bringing more clutter into this house, but I can't help myself when it comes to books. So anyway, all right, I will talk to you again in another video. Like, subscribe, say hi in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey y'all. Okay, I have a problem. I bought some more books. So I had to go on this work thing today, and on the way back, a coworker and I saw a sign for a hospice thrift store. So of course we had to stop. Went in, not the greatest book section, but I managed to find just 4 books. It's just 4 books this time, so I thought I'd tack it on to the first book haul I just did yesterday, that I just filmed yesterday, but then I went and bought more books. So I'm just going to share those real quick right now. The first book I found was The Thornbirds by Colleen McCullough. It's one I've been wanting to read for a while, so when I saw it, I was like, I'll grab it for, I think the paperbacks at this store were 50 cents, and hardbacks were $1, so, 50 cents. The next one I got was Clear and Present Danger by Tom Clancy. It's another one of the movies that I've seen, and thought I'd give this one a shot and see if I like it. Next one is Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Yeah, Straub. I have heard of this book and I've seen it around for a really long time, but never picked it up to read it, so thought I'd grab that one too. And then the last one is James Rollins, The Judas Strain. Again, it's one that I've read, but I want to reread it, so when I saw it, I picked it up, and this one, it was $1, so can't beat that. Anyway, that's it. I'm not buying any more books for a while. I've got plenty to keep me occupied for probably ever. So I'll see you in another video. Say hi in the comments, like, subscribe, all that. See you next time.